Hello and happy Tuesday. Welcome to the Q&R Code podcast with your twin co-hosts, Quinn and Riley.
Hello. It is a beautiful day. We are just coming off of getting to have been with each other yesterday and had such a fun time with friends, some new friends, actually a lot of new people, going to a party introduced to people, which I don't get the opportunity, I was about to say to do that often. Upon moving here, that's not the case because we are meeting everyone new again, but it's been nice getting to talk to different people. You almost always find someone that is just interesting and easy to talk to at a gathering, many times more than one people, which was the situation for us. So that was fun for me yesterday.
Yeah, and it started at 4 o'clock, which...
Thank you.
Yes.
You.
We were able to be home at I didn't personally feel like it was early. I still felt like we were home kind of late with, the things that then have to be done, like feeding the animals. But I think we got home at 8:40 or something like that. And that is just so much more doable and reasonable in my eyes. And I just feel like that's respectful, practical, understanding of adulthood.
Yeah, I know. I was thinking about that too because that just allowed enough time for there to be like the linger and charcuterie board time, and then we'll move into dinner and dessert. I am now of the mind of an earlier dinner person. I got on that train with Brayden and I like it there. I'm hungry at the end of the day. I want to eat earlier. And then the additional fact of, for a gathering, like letting people trickle in, still feel like they get a good time and trickle out, and not plan on I have to start cleanup at my place at like 11 p.m. when the last person leaves. It's just so practical. I love it. I was like, that is actually good stuff. Thank you.
Yeah. And honestly, we left wanting more, where we were like, we could totally stay, but for our animals' sake, we have to go. And it was good because by the time I was getting in bed, I was so zonked. I was like, good night. So anyway, that worked out great. Riley was amazing and brought hot dog sourdough buns. I don't know if you guys remember from last year on the 4th of July, the most patriotic thing that we did and do is to create some fresh sourdough hot dog buns. And let me tell you, huge enhancer of the hot dog experience, which I'm a lover of. But I love that tradition, and to me, I declared it that it was going to be a tradition last year, and we made it happen again, and that to me is necessary. We have to at least just doing it once a summer for...
Yeah.
And they were a big hit. Everyone loved it. They're a showstopper. They look so beautiful. It's so funny to remove the beautiful little gingham, like red and white cloth, and have the reveal of these just perfectly golden egg washed hot dog buns is everything.
And honestly, not to be tooting of one's own horn, but to encourage the people, it was a serious level up. Like, compare, if you could set that next to a bag of store-bought hot dog buns, I don't think there's such a world of difference. And
everyone took that. Like, there was the option of there were bags of just the store-bought hot dog buns. Not a single bun was left at the end of the party. Everyone took one, and thank goodness you doubled the recipe.
I know. It was a good potluck. People brought different dishes, and that was lovely. confirmed, Roger does not like fireworks. We have not had to navigate with that with him yet from where we lived before. And we live in a very happy-go-lucky area with fireworks, especially considering the extreme fire danger and dryness. I was like, okay, we're all just doing our home fireworks regardless of
Not we're
advice.
all. Not
Okay,
we're
not
all.
yeah, no, and not we're all, but
They.
many are choosing. Many are choosing, and poor little dog was like, I don't like this. I will be hiding under the bed until future notice.
Oh. Yeah, I've never had an experience with my animals yet where they're actually like by the fireworks. We still hear the fireworks for sure, but there are none set off like in our direct area
Not like your
whatsoever,
next door
so
neighbor with them in their driveway.
not at all. Um, but I will always love, even though, here's the thing. They're happening anyway, so I'm going to go get a view of them. I was very worried, and I don't even know, I haven't looked into like were any fires started in Colorado because of this. Obviously, truly hope not, but they're going on anyway. So, and I love on our property that when we walk up to the top of our hill, we can see a view. It's not like there's fireworks covering the sky everywhere, but there's like definitely a panoramic view of all sorts of the Denver metro area fireworks, and then also like to the south and farther west. Like we just get
Yeah,
this crazy view that's pretty special that we get to see like firework
yeah.
shows, dozens of firework shows going on.
It's so funny because I think living in a small town that was far from other towns and enclosed in by mountains, it was like, oh, on the 4th of July, there is this one place does fireworks, or maybe out at the
Yeah.
village too. But on our drive home, oh my gosh, I was like, wow, we can see. Brayden and I were like, oh, a fireworks started, and then just started paying attention. And I'm like, oh, yeah, here, 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 here. Like the out where we end up, and it's so flat. I was like, I can see so many people doing them right now, which,
Mm-hmm.
again, don't know if I'm completely on board with, but they're going, and it's a fun little once a year Americana thing to watch, I guess, at its best.
I love fireworks to be honest. Like I think they're so fun. They're so sparkly, they're so pretty. Like it's hard to imagine
Yes.
not liking the look of them. The
No, they're
impact
dazzling.
is a different story, but yeah, who doesn't like it? Just shimmery like glitter falling from the sky. Yeah, that's very
Those are
cool
one of my
looking.
favorites, the one that just actually look like a little glitter bomb. I also love the
Mhm.
classic, just kind of yellow streaks out ones. In
That then
any
has the
case,
red dots on the end.
yeah, so cute. Um, we also had just the best trip last week, so I wanted to bring us over to talking about my personal first mulemanship clinic as an observer rather than participant. But I feel like you are a participant even when you just audit something, because you're learning. You got to be in learning mode, journal out, taking notes. A particular highlight for me was because I wasn't writing or working with an animal in it, I got to watch Quinn do her working. And that was really cool and special. Maybe you want to start by telling us a little bit about your first experience working cows.
Yeah, as I imagined, so much fun, and I would love to do it every day. Um, the first day was raining a lot, and that was a good, humbling experience. And it's like, yeah, clearly rain or shine, we're doing this. Maybe not if there was a tornado, but
Well, I
there
mean,
was.
not only doing it right off the bat, I was surprised because I kind of had a conception of what a clinic would be like in my head, and then when I walked over and observed the whole class, I'm like, oh, this is a real learn by doing situation, because I thought there was going to be more of a presentation, or I don't know. They're up there and
Presentation. Riley thought there was a PowerPoint.
I just thought he might be like, okay, these are some of the principles. This is what we're talking about, whatever. But they're like, no, get right into it. Okay, you guys try to do this. And I was like, oh, this is like an art class in college when on the first day, our drawing teacher was like, so I have this elaborate still life set up in the middle of the room. Please draw that. And I'm like, oh, it's going to be like this. Okay, I don't know how, but let's learn.
Yeah, like the viral drawing where half of it is the like graphite sketch of a realism horse, and then the back half is like a pencil stick horse, stick legs. Um, yeah, well, Riley, as you figured out, that's because it was a more advanced clinic. The second clinic that he hosts in the day, you do start by talking over a lot more foundations, but in that cow working clinic, you're expected to have the understanding of the foundations and principles that he is teaching so that you can get started and start learning more about stockmanship and how to deal with cows and working on the angles and just getting in there. And you also have to get your cows trained up, depending on we were very lucky at this clinic that we had very trainable, fun, chill cows that really worked well for us. I had been to his clinic, Ty Evans, his clinic at Bryce Canyon, as we talked about on the pod, but those cows, there was a very different energy coming from them. Like, I am not kidding you. When one of the cows was like getting prepared to be loaded into a chute, it pole vaulted over the fencing, like straight up.
It literally
flipped,
grabbed a
pole
pole, ran, and jumped.
I was like, oh wow, you you do not want to be in there. So it was great because we got to just get right in there with stock that was cooperating very well. But it was a lot of fun, and honestly, like the rain, first of all, I'm like, thank goodness it's raining. We're in Colorado. We need rain. And the night the night that we got there, the smoke had really rolled in from the nearby fire, and the rain really flushed it out for us right away,
Yeah.
which was nice. We didn't have to be choking on smoke the whole clinic.
And made it so much less dusty and allergy vibes for me that day. Did not help for the next day, however.
But anyhow, it was great. It was definitely working with the cows was a way to be like, now here is a thing that a reason I need to be applying the foundational principles I've been working on. It's definitely putting to the test, like, okay, can you be punctual in asking these things of your horse or mule and like get in there and get it done? What did I find? No. I found
room for growth.
I found lots of room for growth, but I was honestly so proud of Ghost, my Mustang. This was pushing him to another new level for sure. Like, we've been asking him to level up quite a few times in the past his life. So it's making me really proud to just see we can do it. We can get it done. And there was a lot of improvement from day 1 to day 3. And he got way more comfortable. And even just, I'm so excited by the progress with our animals in general. Whenever we go to this stuff, if I could be grateful for any part of having as small of a herd as I do right now with just a Mustang mule and donkey. Um, Clearly the financial aspect is better, and also the fact that we can haul them all, like our whole herd, with us whenever we go. So far, pretty much wherever we go for a trip and an event like this, we bring them all, and it's just such good exposure and experience for them. And to think back to our first clinic we took them to in November of 2025, and how much less settled they were just like so much more high strung and anxious. And now that we've done so much more of this, it's just very gratifying and makes me really proud of them to see how much progress has been made, of how quickly they're able to settle in and be less anxious in a new space and more confident and ready to work.
Everyone did such a good job with that. I was impressed too. And the practice also of even loading into the trailer and standing in the trailer for a longer day driving, all of that stuff. Um, yeah, they got great experience from the past year plus from you guys with that, and it's definitely paying off. We also brought the dogs with us this time, and I'm so proud of them, and the work that you guys have been doing at home has definitely translated because they were such good guys to have around too. I was of course slightly, when you bring two dogs somewhere, feeling like beforehand, is this gonna complicate the learning aspect during the clinics, but I did not feel that way. They were great to have around. And they were so
Yeah.
cute to be my little note-taking company.
Yeah, it was so sweet seeing Riley be like the little rodeo mom in the stands, taking pictures and getting her notes, and the dogs were doing great just laying up in one of the boxes with her, just chilling. Um, they were not distracting, they were never making a peep, and even we have had difficulty in the past. Sean and I have taken them, as on multiple like horse camping trips. Whenever we go horse camping, they come with. And once again, the first trip we did like that to now, huge improvement. Especially with Bunny, who's now a year and a few months old. I mean, he's just able, of course, to regulate and be. He has more capabilities of just being a good guy, and Pinkerton is a great girl, and but still, she new stuff is it's new stuff, and you have to get used to it. And I'm so proud of how well they did when we were leaving them in the trailer, and having times where they just needed to settle down and let us all do our thing. And yeah, it was definitely an encouraging thing and a great reminder to just do it. Do it scared. Doesn't John
Feel the
Wayne
fear
I'm
and
pretty
do it
sure.
anyway.
I'm pretty sure said John, it's a John Wayne quote that's like, you're scared to get in the saddle. If you're scared, get in the saddle and do it anyway, or something. Anyway, it was confidence building to remember, like, just because something is a little intimidating or new, that's not a reason not to do it. You do as much prep ahead of time to make sure that things will be as successful as possible, and then you've got to go for it. There's no time like the present. You've just got to get it done, and that's going to make future you have such an easier time. Like the next time we bring them to a clinic with us, it is going to be that much simpler and easier, and already something that they've done and is under our belts, and it won't be a first anymore.
Yeah, which is also how I felt for myself because
Mm-hmm.
that was a new experience, and just the information I was taking in. Good thing Quinn wasn't in the second half of the day, so she was sitting with me, and that was talking about more foundations and, the philosophy that sets you up to be on the horse.
Riding.
Like it's, yeah, riding. It starts on the ground. And wow, there was a lot to learn. Luckily, there was a lot of repetition, so that helps to get it in you. But even with the amount of repetition there was, I was still like, okay, yes. Not gonna say that's locked in because you work many, many hours and a very long time to actually not only the basics would be like understanding the principles. What's complicated is being able to implement them and do it
Mm-hmm.
practically. And you have to be very within yourself, conscientious and aware of you, as well as another animal, as well as, you know, your environment. It's just kind of a skill that I think you have to practice. I said to Quinn, it's good to have already like an interest in practicing mindfulness because I feel like that's a skill to build up in itself. And then you need to be doing that while also having your awareness. Like, I'm not sitting down, closing my eyes, meditating in a space where I'm trying to like get, not let the outside input affect me. The outside input is going to affect the situation a lot. So you have to have an awareness of all of that. And it's hard work, but it was really cool being in this setting where people were earnest and working towards it. They're showing up, paying time and money to be there and practice, and definitely sometimes there's a little bit of the frustration when you're not getting it, but it's such a good space to be able to show up and learn and try and have others, and particularly like an instructor there that can kind of see what's happening, help you correct some of those things to take home and just practice more.
Yeah, I love getting called out for feedback and um future I told Riley and Sean I need to get one of those like right in the rain little the tiny little notebooks that I could be putting in my shirt pocket or saddlebag because my least favorite part of the clinic is that when we're actually on and riding, that I don't have my notebook and I'm not taking notes because I am such a note taker. And anytime that we're like in any of the other clinics I do with him where we meet together and the first thing we're standing together and the animals are tied, I am avidly scribbling. So a few times I actually even like tried to yell to Riley and get her attention and be like, write that down, which I don't think she got. But um, it was it was really good to feel our progress too because now like enough time and experience with being in the clinic setting and with Ghost and I there was never a time even through our around the arena bolt that I felt like, oh my God, I want to cry. Like, I remember the first clinic I went to, like you said, where you can get so frustrated by just not understanding and you're trying to take all this information in that I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so overwhelmed that I could just cry right now. But now it's yeah, that for me is a very helpful part too. I think of going back to the same person and like finding a clinician that has a philosophy you really believe in and that makes sense to you because I applied at home and in the clinic and I also get to hear he has a podcast, so I listen to that and now he has a book, so I'm reading that and like enough repetition, I'm definitely at the point where there are things that I used to be like, I'm going to make an informed guess when you ask this question, but now I'm like, oh, let me say, I've heard this enough times to know pretty much for sure. But it's totally like Riley got to have her first ride on my mule Jimbo while we were at the clinic, which was so exciting because she had done she was auditing and actually paying attention. And I am just not at the point with any of my animals where if you are not earnest in trying to learn and understand, like I just don't have any grandkid horses where it's like, oh yeah, just anyone can hop on and it's fine. Like, you definitely have to be earnest in seriously trying to understand how to work with them and respect them and have a relationship. But Riley was like, oh my gosh, there's like the multitasking to really do this correctly is crazy. And it makes me think of Sean at the clinics. Ty has an incredible memory. I will give him that. He remembers everyone's names and pretty much remembers all their animals' names and remembers their jobs for the most part. And finding out that Sean was an aerospace engineer, uh Ty's favorite thing to Sean when he's giving Sean a correction is to say, it's not rocket science. And Sean always responds and says, yeah, it's way harder. And that really does it for me because I'm like, I believe that. I believe us doing this right now, Sean, is harder than
like,
your day to day
is
work. Like,
yeah.
true.
It definitely takes a very different set of skills, a very different mindset. You just also, the thing about working with animals, being with another living being, is like sometimes it's not going to work out, even if you're the most experienced. Like, you need to have that mutual cooperation. It's what you're working towards. But even then, it's just unpredictable, like life. And it definitely makes a difference when you have established the repetitions for you, but also the repetitions for your animals so they know what to expect and they kind of already, you've done this so many times that then when you ask for it in a more difficult situation, they're prepared for that and it's muscle memory and it's not a choice. It reminds me of this dog trainer that I really respect, Denise Fenzi. She was talking about working with her Belgian Malinois, which is a very intense, high energy sport dog. And she was saying his like favorite thing to do is chase. And the other day he was going after a rabbit and she called him and he immediately turned around and came back and they played with the toy and she was saying positive reinforcement doesn't work because my toy is more valuable than that rabbit. He would 1,000 times prefer to chase a rabbit. It's because we have drilled this countless times that when I gave him his command to come back, that was just what his body did. He didn't make a decision. I'd rather come have this toy than follow this rabbit. And, that's just so applicable in terms of the repetitions you need to also react in a situation that well. You're learning these mulemanship skills, and then you might be out in the mountains and stuff is very unpredictable. Then there's a lot going on at once that matters so much. And I have a long way to go. I was keenly aware of that as we were doing the clinic. I'm like, I knew I had a long way to go. Now it's just more confirmed and evident to me that that is the case. And good thing this is fun and outside, and I love working with animals. But yeah, it was a lot to just also seeing people that with their herds of animals and knowing most of them had only brought like a selection of their equine. I was like, where is the time to do this with each one of your equine?
Yeah. That's the whole thing about calling it a lifestyle. It's like, it's really difficult to consider it a hobby. It's really difficult to consider it, just a part-time thing. Like, it becomes such a interwoven part of your life, and even the way that your mindset every day affects how you then approach the animals. Like, it really becomes, and that's a big part of the philosophy that I follow with the animals, is that who you are and how you show up every day in life is how you are able to show up with your horses. And you come in, you kind of hear people say like, oh, that they're emotional support and that type of thing, which certainly they can be, but I think that some people picture that. Like, I remember as a kid feeling so existential and wanting to. We had a friend with a
So
cat
often.
that, yeah, I mean, numerous times, but we had a friend with a cat, and at the time in my life, I wanted a cat more than anything, and our parents would not budge. And I remember, like,
Even when Quinn asked Santa.
even when I asked Santa, and even when I wrote a very nice letter, to them, but we had a friend with a cat, and I was at their place and literally was just like sobbing, petting the cat. And I'm like, okay, the dumping that I did on that poor cat to just be like, this amount of energy I am dumping on you right now. Like, equine are so sensitive. You definitely don't need to go up to equine and be like, oh my God, my horrible day. It's like, no, resolve that before you go out and dump all that on them. I even this morning I woke up, first day of my period, was feeling like I chose violence by bitching was how I felt when I woke up this morning. So the first thing I wanted to do was bitch and moan, and I came out into the living room with the dogs to bitch and moan about how sorry for myself I felt in the moment to Sean. And me, like, I was exaggerating it and being like, oh, poor me. And the dogs immediately, their energy, they're like, okay, what is going on with mom? I am so uncomfortable. They like get in my space because they're like, you are freaking us out. And obviously, then I dropped the act and was like, I am not so self righteous to think that I should be consuming the space in this way when they clearly just told me they're uncomfortable with my bitching. Um, but if you like, if you know enough about animals or even like energy of people, you will be able to you can see how your energy is being received. And if you go out and dump a bunch of negative or intensely, dramatic energy on your equine, that is going to make it a lot more difficult to have a successful session with them. So that is a huge part of what I love about this lifestyle is that it makes me want to be a better person all the time, not just in the barnyard. Um, and we'll transition to a little bit of an update about my Mexico to Canada journey. This has been, it's just an ongoing, it's every day is part of the journey to get there, like there's so much to be done on my end personally with the animals, purchasing gear, mapping my route, purchasing another animal. Like there's just a lot of moving pieces, and I I just want to be treating like these Q&R code updates like a bit of a journal entry for this journey that I'm going on, because I think that it's special to be able to look back in time and remember how I felt. So, in all honesty, I feel like most of my days I've been feeling so positive about it and like just really optimistic and not even like, well, maybe delusional. Maybe delusional. Um, but not just being like, oh my gosh, it's going to be the time of my life, but rather being like, I am so pumped. And this is like, I feel so aligned and just on this path that feels very right. And just like, I see my path forward. And then I've had a few days in the past couple of months about it that have just felt like, wow. Like, oh my goodness. And starting this morning was definitely one of those days. And I always notice, that's so weird that when I've had like multiple poor nights of sleep in a row, and then yesterday I had a migraine in the morning, and today I started my period, so clearly I take these feelings with the context of the situation. Like, I'm not, it definitely doesn't, none of these feelings have ever made me rethink, like, is this worth it or anything, even at my lowest low moments I've had with intense overwhelm about the journey. I still feel very aligned, but this morning and today I've just had to let myself, like, I did a nice journaling session where I let myself just be super honest and kind of rant about all the things I'm feeling overwhelmed about and that are stacking up. Um, and then I went and wrote a couple of wins that have been happening to make sure that that's where I'm capping things off. But I did
Quinn's
just
wins.
Quinn's wins every day. Um, I do think it's worthwhile to be honest about that factor about these big goals, and I don't think that that would surprise anybody, but I prefer to live in the mind state of positivity and abundance and joy. And so when there are those days, that today it's just been a reality check day where I'm like, I think people are hearing my timeline for the date that I'm doing this being in 2028 and feel like, oh, you've got so much time. And yes, thankfully I chose the date to where it's like I have time. I do have time. I have time. That's for sure. Time is on my side, but definitely not in a way where it's like, oh, I have got time to spare. Like, no, I'm at the place with myself and my equine that it's like we are full blown locked in mission, and I am trying to make sure that every piece is coming into place for us to be successful. So, you know,
Maybe
it's a
some
big,
people would think that. I certainly don't feel that way. I think anyone that knows like where you're starting and what it's gonna take would see that time flies pretty quick, and it's not like
yeah.
now you don't have a job or something like else that you're also
Yeah.
balancing.
I think that when you're not specifically involved with equine, it can just be pretty hard to understand the scope of even what going on a trail ride can look like. I think, there are so many things at home that have to happen to build preparedness for that. Um,
Yeah.
so I think for most people, it's totally fine, and I wouldn't expect no one needs I don't expect them to understand. There's so much I don't understand about this trip yet that until I have done it, I'm not going to understand.
Yeah.
So I, of course, am much more educated about it than Joe Schmo, who's never ridden a horse. Um, but still, I feel very humbled every day with this knowledge and with the preparedness I'm trying to have. I take it very seriously, and I'm very open to be hearing multiple from trusted individuals, like, give me the feedback. I want to hear your take on this and your opinion if you would want to do something differently. And all of that is just a bit of, a juggle situation where um there's a
Yeah.
lot of moving parts, but I that journal session was really good for me, and then going outside and spending some time with my long ears and short ear ghost. Um yeah, I'm feeling in a lot better place in the day. Um but just feel like there's just the fire, and I know that, like, the intensity of it is going to continue to build, and that's a personal part of this journey and mission that is like that's a reality check of this. It's just not a journey that you can kind of like fake it till you make it, and like, you know, put these feelings aside. It's like, no, this you can't just skate by.
Stop, you cracked me up with that. Just Quinn picturing doing nothing to train for this for the next year and a half, getting to the border of Mexico and being like, all right, fake it till you make it, baby, in the wilderness.
Buckle my seatbelt on the saddle, just hoping I make it out alive. Yeah, I honestly, this is a big part of this journey for me too. There's so many aspects of it that attracted me to it so much, but a big part of it is having to go through this. No. To me, danger is probably the least attractive part of it to me. But having to really strengthen my ability to cope and my mindset skills and my resiliency, mentally.
Some people
and physically.
choose talk therapy, and other people choose an arduous 6 months of tromping through the landscape looking for water for them and their herd.
Yeah. And it's all better different.
Thank you for sharing the update. I think that's going to be nice to continue to have. And on our next episode, we are also going to be inadvertently, or I guess advertently, talking a little bit more about preparedness for this trip, but also just for doing adventures in life, period. And that's the other cool thing is you're, planning for a particular goal, but of course you're just accumulating skills and information that you'll get to have and utilize wherever life takes you. And that's how I feel with my mulemanship clinic too, where I'm like, I don't have any equine, and I am still just grateful, even though I plan to. Even if I didn't, I just think that it's so worthwhile to learn and broaden your horizons and understand there are certain things also that you start to learn that you realize, oh, I'm not really actually going to go down that path too much further, but that does open my eyes to those possibilities, and talking to people about jobs they have that I'm like, I didn't even know that was a job. So that's cool to learn about.
Yeah. Yeah, the world is so interesting, and there's so much to be excited and interested about. And yeah, that is such fuel for me to just be like, oh my gosh, the learning opportunities in life. So
you guys already know this at listen, but I'll obviously go follow the Q&R code on Instagram, but also Quinn at Quinn Lilliestrom. And I'll shout out me, even though, hey, can't make any promises right now, at Riley Lilliestrom. But Quinn specifically is doing an awesome job of showing bits and pieces, things that you wouldn't necessarily think, oh, that's another thing Quinn has to be doing to be prepared and ready for this sort of trip. So we'll update you here and there.
Yes. Thank you for listening, and thank you for your support. We will talk to you next Tuesday, and find us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, or watch us on YouTube, youtube.com/@theQNR code. And we would really appreciate if you follow us, and if you rate and review us, like our YouTube episodes, and send it to a friend that you think would be interested. We're super excited about continuing to grow our community. And just so you know, you consistent listeners, we see you, and we see that. We're so grateful. We have a small but mighty community, and hey, this isn't about numbers for us, but we see you consistent listeners and YouTube watchers. So thank you for the support.
You honor us, and we honor you. We will be back next week. Thank you.
Bye.
Goodbye.